Get to know the babes behind the brand as they talk business, women supporting women, and share what it's really like to work in the fashion industry.
Welcome back. Donnie here, founder and creative director of Privilege.
Caitlin, communications manager.
And Leah, operations manager. I said director of operations on the last one. I'm like,
we switch
upping
up our
my
titles a
Almost
lot.
have this nailed, almost, but not quite.
You know what? I'm just going to keep making titles up.
Yeah.
I'm going to next time call myself like head designer. I'm going to say head buyer.
Okay, but isn't that the most accurate joke if we were to actually mock ourselves by changing our title up every time? Because really,
So
like,
true.
how many hats do you wear anyways? Like,
I think operations best describes what I do because I don't, how can you summarize my title otherwise?
some days I literally just like wipe asses is what I feel like. I'm like, some days it's an ever-changing thing.
It changes
so
all
true.
the time. I told Donnie my title today, so that was a
You
decided.
did.
She changed it.
She made it up herself. I like that. Okay, let's bring our guest in. Starting in international relations did not stop this boss babe from taking a swerve and creating a widely successful modeling agency. With a reputation of excellence, Newmark Models represents some of the top talent on the West Coast. We're so excited to welcome Jules Newmark of Newmark Models.
Thank you.
roll.
Reporting live downtown LA.
Reporting for duty.
Live from Level.
Yes.
Well, we're so excited to have you, Jules. I can't wait to get more into your story because even from our brief conversation on the phone, it was so intriguing and what you've done is so cool. But let's whip through our Q&As first. Donnie, you want to kick us off with your boss or bust?
Hold on, let me reference my notes because I can't actually remember after this many podcasts. Okay, yeah. This is what I was going to say. I said a few weeks ago I was going to try to nail down Pinterest. It's like a social media channel that we really haven't dived into. And it's such a great way to get new traffic. And so I've been really focusing on it. And I just want to say that I am definitely getting my footing. I feel like I'm going to take a boss for the fact that on different platforms, it's like, I think a testament to the fact that you never stop learning. Like you constantly educate yourself in different areas. And that's just something I put my mind to. So I feel like I'm going to take a boss and
That is a
celebrate
boss.
that.
Yeah, and there's been some really good traction happening from that.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. Kate?
I will take a boss. We've been drinking a lot of summer water, and I haven't gotten a headache yet.
It's been going down like actual water.
I love that move. Yeah, 365 summer.
Exactly.
My boss was going to be hitting Whole Foods every day since we've been here. I'm obsessed with Whole Foods.
So good.
I don't
been
have a
there
major
one?
boss. No, what is this?
We'll have to talk later.
You're going to shake our life up here.
I mean, you guys need to understand. It's the luxury of grocery of LA.
Okay. Okay. Jules, what's your boss or bust?
Oh, man. I guess I will do. I guess I'll do a bust in that I fell down the stairs 2 weeks ago, and I've been recovering ever since. And I finally just started to be able to work out again.
Did it have anything to do with summer water?
Oh, good question.
You know, as it was 5 a.m., everyone thought that it might be me continually partying from the night before, but it fortunately was me waking up at 5 a.m. and I was carrying 2 loads of things because I'm an overachiever, and I thought it was the last step, and it wasn't. And yeah, I have fully now almost recovered. So that was a bust of late that I'm just still thinking of every day.
It's just
can't
like
let
that
it go.
shit you can't plan for too. It's like all of a sudden just like swerve, redirect.
It really took me out of my routine. Not happy about it. So yeah, I'm going for boss moves moving forward.
You've gotten a bust out of the way, so you're freeing yourself up for that boss.
I'm ready.
Plus, you're not the only one. I had a summer water related fall almost a month ago.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah,
like
Kate.
it was bad. I'm
Her
recovering
knee
now.
is actually messed up.
Yeah.
I'm
not gonna pretend
terrified.
it's okay.
Honestly, I just built a house. This is actually leading into my weekly obsession. But we just moved into a house that we've been spent like 2 years building, and we have like the most terrifying staircase. And I have 3 little kids, so I'm like, why didn't I think this through at all? It's not like I bought the house. Like I literally like designed it and built it. So like I can't even blame anybody. But it's just like a straight run staircase. Totally exposed.
It's wood, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It's all wood.
Socks could be.
It's terrifying, actually. It's like not going to end up well. I want to knock on something that is wood. But I'm very afraid of that. So I'll try to learn from
I'll
you.
have to give you my tips.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Your tips for stairs.
Yeah, tips for stairs.
Write it down, okay?
I went down your stairs after my fall and was very cautious.
It's scary. And I was like trying to figure out why it was so scary. Because I'm like, it's really not that much different than other staircases, but it's because there's no turn. So if you fall, it's like straight down. And it's like extra high ceilings. So it's just, I don't know.
Glass
it would
on the
be a dramatic
sides.
crash.
It would be very dramatic. Especially
You
now
could
that
go
that wine wall
you
is
could
in,
go
it's
through
all
the
glass.
wine
Yeah,
wall.
just, just don't touch the wine.
The summer water.
No, yeah. My current obsession actually has been like home. I've been obviously really into like moving and like getting organized and getting everything, but I'm really into like home automation. And I did all this like smart lighting in the house. So it's like you can set zones and you can set moods and okay, like if you're watching a movie, you can have it like at 50% dim in one room and then like all off. And it's like, I've just mildly been obsessing over it because I can create these different like, I feel like I can do it based on vibes, like cooking dinner, drinking wine, like what's that vibe? What room is doing what? And
That's
I can
cool.
also mess with it like right from here. So it's all on my phone.
Oh.
It's like pretty cool.
That's
I'm
neat.
pretty into that right now.
I love that.
That's cool. Kate, what are you obsessed with?
I've been taking my magnesium vitamin right before bed, and I think it's actually helping me sleep better.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
For sure about that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've been obsessed with doing that because I'm
all
a bit
love
of an insomniac too. So I've always had trouble sleeping, and my doctor was like, "Take your vitamins right before bed, especially the magnesium one." I was like, "Okay."
Do you use the mag oil as well?
I do, but that doesn't really.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. Yeah.
It's not a high enough dosage. It's their quality is really good, but it's the dosage isn't quite enough.
I need both.
Instead of drinking like 12 vodka martinis tonight, I'm going to take some magnesium and go to bed.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's a really
Shift
good
gears
idea.
a little bit.
Wow. So mature of you.
I'm going to try.
I'm currently obsessed with something super lighthearted, but the everything bagel seaseaning from Trader Joe's. I cannot get
Never
enough
heard
of it.
this.
You have to get it and put it on your avocado toast.
Ooh. Like, what is it? Like salty,
It's
garlicky?
everything bagel. So it's like the garlic flakes and salt and poppy seeds.
Well, that would probably be good for so many different things.
I put it on everything. Like I put it on if I make a homemade mac and cheese, I'll put some everything seasoning on. It's like, it's my crack.
That really segues back to Erewhon because they're currently selling this brand called Peckish, which are 2 hard-boiled eggs in this chic packaging. And there's 4 or 5 different flavors, and there's one that's everything, and you dip the egg in the seasoning.
Oh my goodness.
It's a big mood. You need to try
I
it.
need to go there. Okay, how do you spell the
One.
name?
I'm
Air One?
like,
Like Air O-N-E?
It's nowhere backwards.
Oh.
My muggled. Yeah, you've got to go. There's
That's
one.
like this exclusive. You're like,
There's
a
one
part
right
of all
by
these
the
clubs.
Grove. There's one right by the Grove. You have to go. It's so next level.
I feel like we would be more into that than like going to a club.
Oh my gosh, you would freak out. You'd be there for hours. Their hot food bar, oof, next level.
I'm obsessed with the hot food bar at Whole Foods.
This is
Because for us, that's like,
this is next level. This is something you've never seen before.
is that your
I'm
obsession?
putting that out there now.
Is that your current obsession this week, or do you have something else for us?
I don't think Erewhon current obsession really like takes part because I not only do I do all my grocery shopping there, which is absurd, but it's been my life obsession for a while, so I don't really think that counts. I'm currently obsessed.
It's more like a lifestyle.
That's just that's just a routine situation. I'm really obsessed with skincare, as is everyone and their mother, and I'm really into Lancer's skincare products right now.
I've heard
Dr.
of them.
Lancer is like really popular in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Facials to the stars, etc. But they have this amazing like 2-step progress that you do with like a scrub. It's like an exfoliating and then a cleanse and then the lotion. You do that twice a day and it's really amazing. So I'm really vibing on that.
Oh
Current obsession.
like the
I
sound
think
of
I'm
that.
currently obsessed with you. Like the way she talks, I feel like, oh my God, I
Donnie's
feel like we're on
Boss
the
Babe crushing
same.
on you.
Yeah, I'm like going to switch gears because I was actually going to do Kris Jenner, which is the most basic answer ever.
Obsessed with her.
But I'm changing it to you because I actually feel like we're on the same frequency, like the way
Yeah.
you talk, and I'm like,
We're on the wavelength.
my language.
Yeah.
But I've like I don't keep up with the Kardashians usually, but in my it's been on in the room all day when I was like prepping for the podcast
Yeah.
and whatnot, and I was just like had a moment where I looked at it and I like look at this fucking thing that this woman built. Like, yes, it's all of them, but like actually
Oh, she's been a huge driver.
they have more influence than much of our mainstream media. Like it's quite quite crazy how much we care about like this Tristan Thompson scandal and all, you know, all of them. And I
Chris
feel like
is so incredible.
she is, you know her, don't you?
The master manipulator.
You-
I don't know her.
Oh, you don't know her. You don't
I
know
got
her.
really excited for a second.
I secretly
was
do.
like,
I secretly do. No, I'm just kidding.
I wish you did. I would love to hear that.
She's just a mastermind. You just know it. So I was like, I'm gonna just throw that one right out there.
I love that.
So that's your boss babe crush.
Well, I
I
had
love
two there.
I like the swerve. Kate, who's yours?
I didn't have one, but now I want to say Chloe.
I love Chloe. I mean, there's nothing not to like about her.
Yeah, I think she's my favorite Kardashian at the moment. I go back and forth.
She's our like Kardashian follower of the
Yeah,
group.
I love
Kate's
them.
definitely into that.
Someone needs to.
Someone needs to keep
But I
up.
feel like
Someone,
mean,
nobody
current
follows
events.
them, so
I've just
Someone
always
should.
been obsessed with reality TV because I love how mindless it is. Like I can do so many other things while watching it, and even if it's not real, like I don't care. I get invested in the story.
right.
it's pretty easy.
So.
I'm like, well, I haven't kept up for 7 years, and look, still
Same
up with
thing.
it. Watched
Yeah.
it. It's like still.
I'm
on it.
current.
Yeah, I'm current.
My current boss babe crush, and I don't know if I've said her before, but Sarah Hyland from Modern Family. I think
yes,
she's
I love
so
her.
cute. She's so funny. I love that I don't know her, but from what it looks like on Instagram, she just doesn't take herself too seriously. She'll like poke fun at herself and like post a paparazzi photo and like make a sassy comment, like poking fun at
I'm
her
into
face
that.
she's making. But also, I feel like this is a theme with me. She's really real in the sense that she talks really openly about her journey, like her health journeys and her challenges and how she's had all these crazy surgeries. And you'd never know that she was like on kidney dialysis while filming Modern Family for
Really?
like a year. I can't remember how long it was, but I just think she's really neat because she has such a lighthearted attitude.
You always pull these people on for these answers that I literally have no idea who they are, and I'm so intrigued that I'm like, I have to go like research these people after.
I think the reason is because I seek out people who are both like talented and doing something cool and like going through something personally that they're
It's always
talking
something
about.
that creates like authenticity for you.
Yeah, I really, really appreciate that. That's what I'm all about. So I just want to crush on Sarah Hyland. She's kind of a boss babe.
She has really great Insta stories too.
Yeah, and like working through all the crap she's going through and not letting it get her down. I mean, Modern Family's pretty big.
Oh yeah. I think she might have made a couple bucks.
Medium big.
Like
so.
for sure, like she's not hating her life. It's probably pretty good.
No, but I can't imagine like going through what she's been through while having to film and
God,
being like
100%.
driving between scenes to get dialysis. I can't imagine. So, way to go, Sarah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, she's
about
cool.
you?
Jules.
I'm gonna say my weekly boss babe crush and someone that I'm obsessed with is Lauren Everts, who does
Oh,
The
yeah.
Skinny Confidential.
She is. I crush on her all the time.
Obsessed with her. I can't get enough of the things she uses. I buy all of them. I DM her all the time. I am so obsessed with
I
the
said this
straws,
yesterday.
with the hydro flask, with the skin. It's unbelievable how many
The
things she can get me to
straws.
purchase.
I ordered those because
Oh,
she uses them.
the rubber,
straws.
the hot pink ones?
Yeah, I haven't
Ugh.
gotten them yet, but
They're so cool.
So we have Lauren coming on the podcast in April.
Oh my
Booked
god,
in.
I'm having a meltdown. I love her.
Do you want to just like come and like just
Yes,
You
I'll
should
be
just
under
come
the
hang
table.
out.
No one needs to know.
Yeah, come
I
hang out.
Love her.
You just have to be a PRIV babe for the day. That's fine. You can do that.
I'll pretend to work for you guys. I don't care.
Yeah.
And now we are doing it at the Soho House Malibu.
Yes.
Change of location.
Secret room.
I obsess over her all the time. I was ranting on a podcast last night about like literally I don't get no, I don't want to use the word suckered to like buy things through Instagram like very easily from people. Like I could seek out, she could post anything and I would be like, I want it. Like she just has the coolest products, the way she sells them. And it's not just me, like she captures so many audiences.
Yeah.
My mom is like, my mom is obsessed with
Yeah.
Lauren.
Yeah. But she's just so realistic. I don't think she makes anything seem fake, and the way she talks is so.
She describes it and like how to use
Yeah,
it and
down
like
to earth.
it's just so like
She's so cool.
thorough.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
really
always like
her.
very unique things that I haven't really seen before.
like
Now she's-
4 Sigmatic mushroom coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh, I'm addicted.
I have
it every
been
day.
doing that.
I'm obsessed. It's so good.
For like mental alertness and
Yeah.
whatever. I've been doing
so focused.
the lion's mane elixir. I have been like obsessed over that.
Yeah.
And I sometimes just add it to my coffee. And sometimes I have it like
haven't
in
tried that.
addition to it. Like if I want espresso, then I'll just like add the lion's mane. But I've used that as I think we're the same person.
I honestly, as soon as you said that, Jules, I was like, oh, Donnie's dying right now. I can see you guys
funny.
are so
I DM
similar.
her too. Like I'll like respond to a lot of her posts.
She responds.
Yeah, she responds. She's so good.
I love her.
I like that about somebody.
I text her to do the podcast, and she replied back instantly and was like, "Yes, absolutely. Just send me an email." Like she's just so like
Love her.
on it.
I
I'm
love
like,
the
how are
new
you doing
channel
all
that
this?
she came out with all of her
Me
products
too.
that she
Yes.
recommends.
It was.
Ooh, it's so
Yeah,
good.
We should just call this a Lauren Everett's podcast.
We should.
It's-
I think
yeah,
we should.
the-
Obsessing over her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, she's for
Shout
sure.
out to Lauren.
Shout out
And
to
not
Lauren.
only that, I've been reading a lot of, like the magazine articles or like blog articles where they're like top 10 relevant social influencers right now. She's on like all of them. Like she's just popping off.
She should be.
Yeah, no, and I think it's valid, but I think she's gonna like blow up. I think she's gonna be really
Yeah,
good.
she's really smart. I think she'll do what Blonde Salad has done and just like take
Yes.
something and really challenge the industry.
Yeah. And who doesn't love Michael? Such a good combo.
Well, and
Yeah.
the fact that they
Yeah.
also like have the agency now, so
Yeah.
it's like they're just getting on a level that is like, I don't know, they're very entrepreneurial. It's really smart.
Donnie, what's one thing you're working on improving this week?
Taking it down a lot lighter. Potty training.
Oh.
Not for me, for Elliot.
I'm glad you clarified.
She just seems so ready to do it, and I'm so ready to not have kids in diapers. Like,
Is she the last one?
she's the last one,
Oh.
which is like a bit like, but
It's time to let go.
yeah, but it's kind of also like I don't want to wipe asses for the rest of my life. Like,
Yeah.
I'm ready to not.
This is your last one, and
Yeah.
it's like, I feel like you want this to.
I thought
Be
about
done.
like, yeah, totally. So I'm just kind of, I'm going to do that. And that's what I'm setting my mind to. And that's going to be this week's task.
I like that.
What about you,
Kate?
Kate?
I think writing things down. I have a lot of ideas where I'll be like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. And then I don't document it anywhere, write it anywhere. And then I forget about it. I'll be like, Hunter, I had this great idea, but I can't remember it now.
Oh.
And then we try to talk through
There's
it and
too many
remember.
distractions in our world to not write it down because you're human. I mean,
I email myself everything. Like the minute I think of something, I just subject line email just whatever the
I need
idea
to email
is,
or
even
like-
just
Oh,
one
that's
word.
such-
Because
Text
I
myself
always go
or
through all of
something.
my emails, and
Yeah.
then you'll eventually get there.
Yeah. Sometimes I
I like
text
that.
Hunter like in the middle of the night and I'll be like, remind me
Same.
to tell you this tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
I
love
have
that.
I use my notes on my phone for that stuff. You
Ooh,
should
same.
I
definitely
keep
write
like
stuff
the
down.
longest notes, and they're so all over the place and
Oh,
so
yeah.
random, but it's just like a word will go in.
Yeah.
And it's, then I
And
follow
there's
back.
never a title on the note. It's just a thought. So when I'm reading through my notes, I'm like, how am I going to find what I'm looking for?
Well,
Yeah.
it usually ends up being my guide for our Monday meetings. So
Yeah.
like I bring those ideas, and then it's like, okay, I can pull up all my thoughts from the week
Yeah.
prior, and then I can go through them that way.
I like that.
It's a good tool. It's like the most basic thing too, but it's so
exactly.
important.
Okay. The one thing I'm working on improving this week, I feel like I feel like this is one thing I'm going to work on improving through maybe this quarter or year. I just want to do something that I've been dreaming of. Like I've been dreaming of all these things and I've been writing them down for years and I don't do any of them.
Yeah.
Donnie, I've told you some of the things that I've dreamed of doing.
Like, give me an
Like
example. Are we talking about like Europe or like?
No, like creatively.
Oh, like creating something.
I just want to do one of them. I don't want to just write them down. I want to
100%.
do something.
Yes.
Whether that's like, I don't know,
Like take the leap. Just do
sharing my recipes publicly or
Or, like,
creating like, that
painting
line we
again,
talked
or
about.
drawing.
Yeah, painting, like anything, like just creating. I just want to get myself into that.
I think if
again.
you're a creative, you are like punishing yourself if you're not nurturing that side.
Yeah.
Of you. You have to.
Yeah. So that's why I say I don't know if it's like something I'm improving this week. It's probably more of like a bigger picture,
Or
like,
like an action over
yeah,
time.
yeah. Maybe
You should
this
have a
year.
painting party. It's so fun.
Oh,
you
I've
just go and
done
buy a bunch
those.
of little canvases.
Yes.
And a bunch of wine and
I would
cheese.
come.
And then you
Oh,
have
like
a
host
theme.
my own.
Well, you could do you think of a theme. Like
Yeah.
everyone writes down a word, whatever comes to your mind. Love, sex, doesn't matter. And then the bowl gets passed around, and everyone picks a word, and
Oh,
you
I
have to
love
paint whatever it means to
this.
you.
We
It's
should
so
do that
fun.
at the office.
I would love it. Yeah, that's a great team building activity.
That would be so fun because I've done the ones where you like go somewhere and you have to copy the artist, but I hate copying people. It like
I mean,
drives
who
me
wants to be
crazy.
judged based on what someone else has already done?
Well, yeah, and you're like, for me, I'm such a perfectionist that if someone has done it some way, I need to copy it exactly,
Yeah.
which is no creative freedom for me whatsoever. I don't feel satisfaction leaving a class like that because I didn't get it perfect.
Yeah, I guess
So that would be really
try it.
fun.
test it out.
I like that idea, Jules.
Well, I'm
Go
also
off.
like I can't draw, So I'm not gonna like copy something or actually draw something. Like I could do something abstract maybe, but I don't think I'm going to like draw self-portrait.
No.
I'm probably not.
Oh, this is a good idea.
I'm not good at drawing.
No, but I feel like I'm artistic that maybe
We could like collage something really cool.
do something like appealing.
Yeah,
Do that.
yeah, that would be cool. Okay, we have to do this.
I'll give you all of my notes later on what to do.
Thank you. That is such a good idea.
It's time to take the leap.
Yeah, I've been dreaming about so many things for so long. And like you're at like the early stages where you're like wanting to write stuff down. Like I've been writing things down for like a decade.
So it's like, now what do I do?
Like, come on.
Yeah.
You also like she's become a bit like our like walking cookbook chef, like food.
I love
She's
cooking
like the
so
goop
much.
part of this podcast. Like she posts recipes in our private group, and honestly, it's like actually so good. Like I could see you doing something in that kind.
I do love to cook. I actually have a blog. I gave my sister a cookbook for her grad, and I decided to put it in blog form because then it's digital. She can have it forever. So I do have recipes loaded on a private blog. I could just make it public.
Yeah, you just like it's a
Let it loose. I need those recipes.
I know they're so good.
I
Literally,
love
when we
cooking.
drive together for work, I'm like, "Hey, tell me what you're cooking."
Yeah,
Like,
Tony's always like, "What did you make last night
what
for
did you
dinner?"
make? I'm so intrigued in her. They don't eat dairy, so I'm like, all the spins you take on things. I just really
Yeah, we navigate some interesting food allergies, but they happen to be the same between my husband and I. So I've like over the past 6 years that we've known about this, just
You have
decided
the same
to make
food allergies?
Yeah.
Do you think that they developed based on being around each other?
No, both of our parents are like, oh yeah, from kids we've known that. Like my mom
So
took me
weird.
to a naturopath when I was like 4 because she was like, what is going on with my kid? And he's like, yeah, she's allergic to dairy. Yeah. But that was like 30 years ago. No one knew how to avoid dairy.
Did you meet
There was
your husband
no
in a
alternatives.
dairy-free meetup group?
Surprisingly, no. We actually both kind of stumbled upon them at the same time in our marriage, about a year apart. And then when we talked to our parents about it, they were both like, oh, yeah, no, as a kid, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, neither of you ever told us this.
So you guys have been like living this life for a long time, obviously, but now like being dairy free is like all the rage.
And
so
it's
now
the
totally,
rage because it's trendy, but for us, it's more of like necessity.
Well, I think it's like people are just becoming aware like how shitty dairy is.
Yeah, and
too.
luckily around Vancouver, it's so accessible to find like alternative cheeses. Like the nut cheeses that we have there are so delicious. I don't feel like we miss out on anything. Where maybe in Alberta, it would be super hard.
Yeah.
Because Alberta is like cow country. Who?
Erewhon.
Of course.
I was
Of course they do.
I knew where that was going.
Amazing. Okay,
Just
Jules.
wanted to flip things around to like what I've been working on
Yeah.
lately, like going to Erewhon and trying nut cheeses.
Working so hard lately.
Jules, what are you
things I've been
working
trying to improve, and this is like an ongoing battle of my life, is just trying to stay on top of my emails and trying to figure out like how to navigate, like, do I get back to this person that just wants to plan something that's in May, or then there's a person that wants something for tomorrow, and then another person came through, and then there was a phone call, and like suddenly I have 50 more emails than I did in the morning, and I just want to have a 0 email box. I just want it so bad. It seems
What's that
impossible.
like? What is that like?
You know what? I've been struggling even just unsubscribing to things in my inbox. Like I just.
Do you have your smart inbox set up though? Because on Gmail, they now have
Yeah.
that smart inbox. You can like
I
drag
have that.
stuff into what isn't that?
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't get you a 0 inbox, but it does
It
sift through
helps.
some of the crap.
There's just so many people that don't use the telephone anymore, and it's
Yeah.
become
I
so
agree.
difficult to communicate things because you go through this whole epilogue on basic items that are phone call worthy, and it also leads to like a deeper relationship with the person, or chatting about something where you don't feel like a psychopath that's the only person that has 150 emails and you want to kill yourself. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy that people don't speak to each other, but they just don't.
And how many miscommunications from going back and forth?
or
Like,
assumptions, or
I've gotten to the end of an email chain and I was like, wait, pose
So
a question like
confused.
for clarity, like, are we talking about the same thing? Turns
Yeah.
out we weren't. We've been going back and forth for 2 days.
Yeah.
What a waste of time.
Well, that's the thing is like all this technology was started to make things quicker, right? Like
Yeah.
so we could just do things so much more efficiently. We can do so much more than
Yeah.
what could be done 20 years ago. But when it comes to that, I totally agree. Let's pick up the phone. Let's squash this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's just a series of back and forth, and it just ends up being really slow.
And I think that's why you and I talk like a dozen times a day.
Yeah, or like
if we emailed, we'd never get anything done.
Yeah, I'm so a pick up the phone person, and I think I say that all the time. I'm like, did you call? Did you call? Did you call?
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're in the business of collecting payments.
Oh, and like the people that on the reverse end that are trying to collect from us, they're like, oh, your credit is now affected. I'm like, did you call me? Like, I never got your email.
call
Maybe
me.
pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I want that product.
Like, you're gonna call a creditor, but you're not gonna phone me.
Yeah.
I don't even understand.
Oh, it's so maddening.
But people,
we're so with you on
and
that
I
one.
feel like it is becoming a bit of an age thing. I think it's like people like 10 years younger don't really pick up the phone nearly as easily. Like, they didn't really have that, like that experience with like the phone that we did. Like, I remember having like an actual phone.
But they've had cell phones and like remember we had pagers.
That's true. But
we didn't have like, we were like, oh, Pac Bell has finally gotten cell phones now. Like, we were at the time where they just came out. So I think that like the younger crowd is just not used to speaking. They're used to texting or watching things. So them talking and communicating is like next to impossible.
Well, and do you think it's because in a text you have so much time to compose your thoughts, whereas when you're speaking, you have to be a little more on your toes?
I think you get to hide for sure, and you don't have to like come up with anything, and you're able to like get away with a lot more for sure.
And I just hate explaining myself through email. Like, I would way rather face something. Like, let's say there is a miscommunication and I'm in the wrong or whatever. I will own it every time. I'll pick up the phone and be like, listen, like, this is what's up. Like, this is my side.
Let's talk it through.
If it's a conflicting situation, like, I'm face to face. Like, let's deal with it.
Yeah.
But that's difficult because I don't feel like the rest of the world operates like that.
Yeah.
So I've been picking up the phone a lot more often.
I like that.
And it's leading me to greater places. So,
Of course, because you're also building a deeper relationship, because people are like, wow, that was so nice to talk with her.
Yeah.
No one else is doing it.
Or like, oh my gosh, it was a woman. I thought it was a man this whole time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Do people think that Jules is a man?
Very, very much so, all the time.
Is that a man's name?
In Europe, it's very popular.
Oh.
Okay.
Maybe in another time, Jules Verne. I don't know. I never thought it was a guy name.
I never
but
would have thought that
people do
either.
all the time.
I love like androgynous names though. Like,
I don't think it's that androgynous. Like Ryan is very androgynous.
yeah,
Right.
But my Donnie
Jules.
is very
You wouldn't
mostly
know.
just a man's name actually. Let's be honest.
Okay, Jules, let's get into talking about you. Tell us, you have such an interesting story. Tell us about yourself
So
and what you
interesting.
do.
So I am an owner of a modeling agency. I started it 5 years ago, and it was going to be named many things, like Revolution or Reformation. I just wanted something that represented change and something new and different. And finally, my best friend at the time said, why don't you just call it Newmark? That's like 2 words in one. And I was like, wow, that's revolutionary. I never thought of that. And so I started Newmark Models 5 years ago on my kitchen table in a room just like this. And Googled how to start a business, Googled Googled LegalZoom. I was like, okay, I'll pay $80 and I'll get
LegalZoom is
stuff.
great.
I love LegalZoom. So I learned everything from asking a few mentors and a couple friends and people that I trusted. And I just took a huge leap. I moved from San Diego, where I was living at the time, to LA, and just put 3 models up on my website and voyaged out, and it seemed to work out all right. I've just never looked up to see if it's going all right. I've never asked questions like, do you think it's good? I just keep doing it, and I just keep waking up and going to sleep, and it keeps working. What do you know?
That is like such a good quote. I've never looked up to see if it was doing well. I've just kept moving forward and kept working.
I mean, so many people are so afraid, like you're afraid to put out your creativity, but it's like, I'm not afraid
totally
because I feel so passionate about what I do, and I love it so much that I feel that someone's bound to like it or go with it or be a part of it eventually. And if they're not,
I love that.
oh well, I'll find someone else that is.
Oh my gosh, that is so great. I love that attitude.
And
I want
The
that.
simple way.
well,
I really
how
want
many
that.
people don't explore their creativity just based out of fear?
I
rejection.
mean, I think most people, I mean, I certainly still have fears, and I mean, it's taken me years to redo the website, and maybe that's just like I'm too busy. I don't really know what that combo is, but maybe it was sort of
first 5
also
years, it's like
the fear of not really knowing what was next, and like what do people want, and what will they think if I put this type of website out versus this type of website, and there's so much more comparison these days with social media and people wondering, you know, you don't look like this other agency, so who are you? But yeah, that's Newmark Models.
And you have such a cool background in international relations. And something that struck me when we talked on the phone is I was like, wow, how did you get from there to where you're at? But then you were talking about how you've applied that when your models are around the world somewhere.
Yeah, it's funny. I always tell my dad that I'm doing international relations on a daily basis because I talk to someone in London or I talk to someone in Paris, and that I'm international relating. Like, what do you mean, Dad? This is what we paid for.
Yeah.
And it is very political. Maybe it's not political on a government standpoint. But I definitely have to play two sides for representing talent and, you know, giving greatness to clients on the same end. So I think it's the most international relations application that I could find that's cooler than working in the government maybe. But yeah, I wasn't going to do that when I was 23. So I don't know what I was thinking. I thought, like, I'll just be an ambassador one day. How cool. You get to live in other countries and represent your own. That's so awesome. But I think most ambassadors are older, and I never really looked at that. But, you know, in college, everyone says you have to have a certain something and you have to have a degree and you have to go in this direction or that direction. So I just followed along until I exited and then realized, like, what the hell do I do now? So I worked in magazines before. I wrote for a couple different magazines in San Diego. And I always loved that, and I wanted to be like the editor of Elle. It was like once I saw Devil Wears Prada, that was it.
Oh yeah.
I was like, Miranda's me. This is my future. It's gonna happen for me. Maybe
I could actually see you doing that
a little
too.
Less bitchy, but like, I don't know, hard to say. As you age.
Oh sure, of course. You earn the right to that.
But once I went to NYU after college for a magazine publishing certificate, which was basically like a year for me to go party in New York with all of my friends and convince my dad that I'm still like going to school and I'm like furthering myself. So he was obviously so excited and proud.
You were networking.
I was networking. There was one class today at 6 p.m. Whatever. I made it. I went there every day.
I networked last night.
And when I got there, I realized that there was like 5 jobs that I could potentially have in magazines that I wanted to work at. And at the time, I was so deathly shy. I would turn beet red trying to answer a question, or I would be like in the back of a room knowing an answer, and I would never raise my hand to answer it. And I knew that I would need to have like balls of steel to get these jobs because these girls were fierce and they all knew people in New York, and I didn't come from there. So I kind of took a look around and was like, I need to go figure my life out, and moved back to San Diego. And I'd remembered this girl. I was like sifting through people's Facebooks trying to find something to do as my dad was like, figure your life out or else. And she had jet set models on her like previous worked places. And I thought, maybe I should look into that. I know something about fashion. I've worked in magazines. This is future for me. So I found their website, and the president's email was just on there. I was like, wow, this is a sign. So I just wrote her this really casual email that basically said, I have a degree. I don't know what I want to do with my life. I've worked in magazines. I think I have some understanding of fashion. I didn't.
You saw The Devil Wears Prada.
I've seen that 20 times. So I could work at your agency.
Yeah.
And a couple hours later, she emailed me back and said she wanted to meet me. And I thought, wow, okay, maybe there's something here. And I went that day to meet them, and everyone was just like in sweatpants and Ugg boots, and there was sand crunching under my heels. And I'll just never forget going in that room and going like, oh, like what's the gag here? Like I wanted everyone to be chic. I expected it to be like Vogue when I went there. It wasn't. But I had my meeting with her, and she said, you know what? You have it. You could be an agent. And I was like, I don't know what I said, but okay.
But
so that day I went into a board meeting, and they had like this banana yellow longboard surfboard that there was their meeting room table, and everyone sat around the table and talked about their sales for the week. And then it got to me, and I was still deathly shy, petrified, horrified, didn't know what I was going to say. And I had to like explain that I was their new competition sort of for sales. And no one was really that friendly. There was one girl who like took me under her wing. Thank God for her. I would never be this far without her. But yeah, she gave me a computer and a phone and was like, you should call clients and just let them know that you have models and you're looking for work. I was like, oh, okay. Boot Camp 101. And that was that. That was 12 years ago. And I really got a life lesson year one in how not to be shy.com. It was cold calling. It was talking to hot people that I've never spoken to people this beautiful in my life. Like I'd never seen them. I had never seen a model. I'd never talked to a model. I had never called a brand. And to have to speak to these people and deliver some semblance of like knowledge, whether it was real or not, and confidence, I had to fake it so much. And finally, after, you know, getting hung up on a million times, getting yelled at by girls who didn't think their rate was high enough, or I hadn't negotiated properly for them, I finally started to come into my own and was like, oh, I think I can kind of handle this. I like it. And just seeing their photos everywhere was so cool. I was like, I know this girl was late to the job and she still made it happen. This is so cool. So.
And then you worked for them for 7 years?
I worked for them for a year and a half. And then I went to a fashion agency called No Ties, which is based out of San Diego. And so Jet Set was like a surf agency that had surfers that modeled on the side. So if there was a big swell, they left town. They didn't care what the job was. They were gone. They vanished. No returning. Okay. And then No Ties
very dependable.
was really fashion. I mean, they measured hips. I had never measured someone's hips. I had never thought about someone being a 34 hip. I don't think I'd ever seen a 34 hip. And I'd never really processed any of, like, I'm sending someone to Milan, Paris. We're trying to get someone to be like a supermodel. I had never really thought about that. And that next 4 years really opened my eyes to it. And we had several girls that did Marc Jacobs and Prada and Miu Miu and Calvin Klein. And we really did the whole dance. And
that's like the real education right there.
That was the real schooling. Yeah, that was a real schooling. And I kind of got to the end of the road there. I was the director there, and it was a small agency, but it really was just kicking it. Like, everyone was next level. It really took it to the next level there in San Diego. And I wanted more, and there wasn't more there. So it was my friend that's owns an agency up here in LA said, Jules, you need to move to LA and start your own agency. I think people like you and you can do it. And I was like, oh my God, I've never thought about that in my life. I just wanted to do bigger things, but I just thought that meant go work at a bigger agency. I'd never thought about putting myself out there that way. And I drove back from LA, meeting with him, to San Diego that day, and I said to myself, this is it. I'm doing it. Then I got back to San Diego, told my boyfriend I'm moving to LA, got to do this. Do you want to go with me? If you don't, I totally get it. This is wild and weird, but I'm going to start my own modeling agency. And he was like, okay, let's do it. And that was almost 5 years ago. So crazy.
That is such a cool story.
Yeah. Thank you.
I like that you just, whatever opportunity was in front of you, you grasped it. You were like,
you listened.
This?
You never shut any of the ideas
Yeah,
down.
like this girl that took you under her wing and encouraged you to be cold calling. You weren't like, oh no, I can't do this. You're like, okay, let me master this.
Well, yeah, you got to give it a go. I think that's kind of one of the secrets to success in life is you really just have to try it. And you can't say that you've done it all and woe is me until you've actually put in the effort and tried to do it your best. And what do I have to lose, right? Mm-hmm. Besides sitting around wondering what I'm going to be doing when my creative ideas are going to be released.
Well, and then that probably all the no's then and the rejection prepared you for running your own business. Because you would have gotten a lot of no's.
Yep.
Well, you get to make mistakes on somebody else's dime.
That's, yeah.
Like, it's so
that is beautiful.
Like, that's so underestimated in our society, the value of like that type of education. So admirable. Like, just when you reached out and sent the email, like that, you do have like a fearlessness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate that about what you have persevered through, because you could have easily just flopped in that position because you didn't know how to cold call.
But I mean, I had to go out on the deck of the agency to make the phone calls because I was so afraid for someone else to hear me and to screw up and to then be embarrassed and then like go home early for the day because I was like, I don't know what else I would have done. I was so mortified. But I slowly but surely started to build it. And now it's funny to train other people under me because I see them going out onto the deck to make the calls. And I'm like, damn, I know this feeling.
Yeah,
like,
I've been you.
Come on in. Let me give you some tools and some tips that no one ever gave me. Because I know the minute you got on the phone, everyone was dead silent listening.
Terrifying.
I'm so awkward.
I
I
don't
hate
like
cold
talking
calling.
on the phone around other people. Like, I always like walk into a private place. I can't
I normally do too. But I don't like cold calling.
Yeah,
it's hard.
You never know who you're gonna get on the other side. Sometimes
I've had some bad
it's
ones.
Fun. Sometimes people are like, "Why are you calling here?"
Oh yeah.
And you're like,
They're having a bad day and they tell you.
right.
Yeah.
So you would call like brands and whatnot.
Oh yeah. I didn't care. I would call Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom, Roxy. Doesn't matter who it was. I was like, I have this girl. She could be in their ads and I would hunt the globe for the right person there online. And 10 years ago, the internet was not what it is today.
That's what I want to talk about, is how our social media has changed the industry.
Oh my gosh, it is diabolical. I mean, you can get someone's email in 30 seconds or less. It's so easy. In the past, I'd like pay for subscription programs that were like an advertising base, and it had, I think it was like $5,000 a year or something, and you were in a subscription to get access to editors' emails and these kind of people, and then you were still cold calling. How freaky! How'd you get my info? I'm like, I don't know. Just pay for it. Found it on the street.
411, remember 411?
Oh, I remember 411. I 411 so many numbers when I was cold calling.
You had to, yeah. I mean, now you can go anywhere. You just go any brand in the world, Gerber, you guys, whoever, and there's their email right there on their social media.
A lot of times you just press message or like email. Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. So when people now tell me, anyone that's new or working under me, I'm like, there's no way that you can't find the info.
But it's still like,
you still have to climb the ladder and try to get in.
Well, no,
like,
we're all, we're all
tower.
using the same tools. So I feel like what it's done is forced everybody to just do more. So it's like now everyone just gets 10 times as many, 100 times as many emails. Like, it wasn't like you were just the one person popping into their inbox. No. Like, now you're competing with.
That's why we're on Email Mountain now.
So it's like, what are we, like, it's just a Shark Tank. It's just a Shark Tank.
It really is. And it's also led to so much more competition.
Yeah.
There's so many more readily available options. And also there's so many more people that as a brand that you can reach directly. Oh, Michaela so-and-so doesn't have an agency. Look at her. She's good to go. We should just reach out to her directly. Oh, even better. We don't have to pay an extra 20%. Perfect. Oh, she showed up to the job. Like, there's just so much ability to reach people now. And it's frustrating at some point, because you go through all of these hoops and ladders to try to be professional and try to offer the next level of service beyond what someone who has no clue can do for themselves. But at the same time, like, there are so many able, capable, girls and guys that are out there representing themselves. So
there's
it's
also
opened the floodgates.
100 times amount of models.
Yeah.
Everybody's a model.
It's become popularized, through all the TV shows. And I mean, I remember when Project Runway was first starting, it wasn't known. It wasn't like a popular thing. You really were seeing the inside of what's going on photo shoots.
People had no idea.
It was really new and like, wow, what a concept. And now there's so many spin-off shows and everyone's seen it. Like, my dad knows about modeling. Everyone knows about modeling. And it didn't used to be that way. When I used to scout people, 10 years ago even, going up to them, they were like, oh, like, that's a dark world. Like, they didn't know anything about it. The parents would be like, oh no, we're good. Now it's like, what show, what's going on, where have you been, we know everything about it. And people that want their kids to be models and they're 13 and they've just seen it all in TV and movies, and so they think it's going to be a certain way, but it's not.
I'm so curious how you find the industry has changed from when you first started to now. I mean, besides these things, but the industry itself, and like some of are there differences in how people are booking or different models?
I mean, I think the movement of, I hate to call it regular people, but the movement of normal sizing, of normal looking people, of people that aren't extraordinary looking is massive. And it's pushed out the typical model. I mean, we had a submission today that was so skinny, and the agent at the office said, oh my God, she's so thin. And I was like, well, that's what models look like. Like, that's, if you go to New York or Milan or Paris, this is what you were trying to discover. This is what's going on over there. And she's like, I mean, we just don't see people like that here. And I'm like, I know. That's not what people request. People here want a curve girl. They want Kim Kardashian. They want a completely different set of rules now it's just so confusing for everyone. So there's a constant sway in like what's trendy because of the celebrity that I think has been even more popularized by social media. And it's really hard to keep up with. I think, especially, I can't even imagine from a model standpoint. Like, one day someone's telling you need to be a 33 hip. Yeah. And then the next day it's like, well, we're looking for 37 hips. And it's like, well, what do you mean? Like, how am I supposed to gain, lose, keep up? And what am I supposed to do?
That would be really confusing, because the industry used to be like, you need a very specific person. And now you could be looking for anybody.
Yeah.
I feel like runway models haven't changed that much though. Like it's still basically
That's
the
still
same
a
figure.
yeah, that's definitely still very traditional world
like
and
for high
market.
fashion, it's that I don't know if it's changed that much.
No, and if someone puts like one model who's a size 6 on the runway, that's all the conversation, but it's like
it's making magazines.
it's one.
Yeah, they make a point, but it's not really like
No,
truly.
it's like the
There's people
99%
that have-
are still the runway model type.
Yeah.
Right.
of that, but the real bulk of the industry is the other type. Like, I mean, the high fashion's only one part of it.
It's
I mean,
yeah,
every
it's a small
ad
part of it.
campaign, that is a big change. That it really is a movement.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
also
why I asked,
the
because-
influencer that's like the face of everything now. It
Yeah.
never used to be that way.
Well, that's why I say like
That's what I
everybody's
was
a
just gonna
model.
say.
Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
these people have made these careers that never, you know, they weren't, they didn't have the model body. Like if you look back 20 years ago, like when you discover a model per se, like it was like, you know, like a diamond in the rough. Like you'd find this, like it was just.
You found
It was
Claudia
special.
Schiffer.
And it's-
Yeah, no, just stunning, timeless beauty, and
Yeah.
and now when I see girls like that, I'm like, oh my gosh,
I need
wow,
you.
you could be a supermodel, like that's next level. But there's so many people in between from there to the supermodel status that
Yeah.
I think it's even harder to climb than it ever used to be because now there's sort of this normalized gorgeous that's requested, and I don't know that people want that still. I don't know. It's hard to say what people really want.
It's like
Yeah.
a bit refreshing that, you know, the world has woken up to. It doesn't make people feel that great when they see that abnormal, I don't want to say abnormal beauty, but like, yeah, when she's a 34-inch hip and she's like 6'1", well, that's like not really realistic and not necessarily the right image to send to all these little girls.
right.
But
But it always used to be.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we grew up with that.
Yeah.
We
And-
all know the supermodels.
It's
Like
actually
we can name the supermodels from when we were growing
Objectively
up.
as well, like the change in normalcy, like do we really feel that much better about seeing that?
Well, we don't
on
feel that
social
much
media?
better because there's social media now, so everyone
So,
feels worse.
It's actually, like that's the question right there.
I just think we've become so much more exposed to things than we
Oh, yeah.
ever were. Now, before you only really saw ads in magazines
Yeah.
and maybe like on a billboard somewhere. Now you cannot escape images. They're everywhere. Everywhere you look, you'll see someone that could look like someone you want to be or someone that looks worse than you and you're like, wow, I look better than them. So there's this constant comparison game that's like off the charts. It's something that I think is really going to stunt our society in the long run, for sure.
I like your lighthearted approach at it. That when you sat down, you're like, I'm not doing surgery. I say that all the time with this. I'm like, we're not like saving the children. We sell clothes. Like that's.
It's not rocket science, and
And-
to treat it like it's something so serious, and to not like have fun with this. It's like we're clothing people, and we're working in fashion and keeping people relevant, and it's not about
It's
you
surface.
know,
It's all
yeah,
so surfacey.
It really
and
is.
it's like you just have to remind yourself of that in like
Right.
the quick pace day to day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ups and downs and
Do
all
you
the
get
things.
like now that you know models have been very normalized in that it's like very like the spectrum is massive. Like I mean, certain people in the past would have never reached out because they didn't have that Barbie figure. But now, do you get outreach from like everybody and their dog for
We do.
representation?
And their dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. We really do get all spectrums, all sizes, all shapes. There's no bounds. It really is. And it's funny because when I first started, no one that didn't look like a model would ever really consider as much as they do now to submit themselves or to think like, well, I could be a model. And I'm just like, where does this confidence come from?
Yeah.
When I see these people that I'm like, you're not going to work. What's going on? But there's just, again, this security that's been created through all of the different sizes that have been put out. So, you know, maybe that's a great thing. And maybe it's nice that so many people have more confidence. But at the same time, it's really false because those still aren't the people that are booking everything and that are making money. It's still the close to perfection, really gorgeous, next level looking people. So I don't know. It's a conundrum for sure.
What about kids? Do you represent any kids?
No, I don't represent anyone under 18. At the last agency I worked at, we did a lot of teens. It was like 13 to 18, and that was kind of like the breeding grounds for fashion girls and people who would be considered for big campaigns. And I just see so many girls getting exposed to things they should never really be exposed to. Mm-hmm. I think that our world is very adult. There's a lot of drugs, sex, alcohol, and everything in between, and there's no hiding it either. And I think it's inappropriate for someone that's under 18 to be around. I know, naive me thinking that they're not talking about these things at school, or that someone didn't do cocaine at a party or whatever it is, but there's just something inside my head that says, on so many girls that I've known over the years that are 16 and so sweet, they would have never seen or heard the things that they heard on our photo shoots or in sets. And it doesn't matter if it's the nice Vera Bradley Baggs job. The girl from last night is still going to be talking about the crazy things she was doing. And there's just no way you can escape that. I just don't think it's appropriate.
That's a really
like
strong personal standpoint. And I agree with you. But do you feel like when you like look at the monetary aspect of the business that you're making a sacrifice by standing true to that value system?
I mean, I probably do, but our focus is very commercial and it's very LA, and I don't find that the market here is very focused on the youth. It's focused.
It might be more like New York.
In New York, sure. I don't think I could have the standpoint and survive. I probably wouldn't have the right people, but I just feel so passionately about it. And yes, I definitely take girls that are 17 that I feel are special circumstances where they're a little bit more mature, or their parents are willing to like follow our lead and advice, and it's not so difficult. But I really, really strongly believe that you need to be a little bit older to be in this world. I can't describe it as anything more than really adult. And there's just certain situations and settings that you're going to be in that you don't really know how to say no, or, well, I just thought I needed to tell them that I would cut my hair because I didn't want to piss them off. And you don't have the strength and you don't have the gusto at 16 years old to tell someone, oh, no, I wouldn't bleach my eyebrows. Like, that's not something I would do. Like, maybe 1 in 100 girls is like that. I've met several of them. They're great. They're firecrackers. But most young girls are very much wanting to please everyone. Yeah. And they're certainly not going to tell their agency, oh, no, I don't feel comfortable. Like, they'll go do see-through lingerie. They will go do topless. They'll do a lot of things that I would never feel comfortable asking someone to do. So I think if I can protect those few people, then I will. And I try to give as much guidance and knowledge about the world to all of them as possible. And you kind of have to go out there and do it yourself and see what happens. But yeah, I'm very, very strong about that. And I know it's a very weird and I
didn't expect to hear that. No.
And yeah, it's an unlikely thought, but I really I'm strong about that.
I really appreciate that. I think that's really cool.
Thank you.
I think you have to have a core value system that means something to you, and that's a good place to start. You can always make an exception if it's
there's always there. Like right now we have a girl that's still in high school and she's just she's still learning and it's going to take her a while. Are we sending her out to the wolves yet? No, like she's certainly not ready for that, but she's in training boot camp and going to some photo shoots here and there, and like with people we know that are trusted and people we know that aren't creepy, and other models we know that aren't wild. Like the models are wild. The girls that we work with are the wildest, most fun, insane girls I've ever met in my life, and that's the kind of girls I like to rep. They're so fun, huge personalities. Yeah, those are the people that can sell themselves and make the whole modeling dream happen. But they're a lot for a young girl. That's too much.
How many models do you represent?
I think we have 23 girls now. It's always 20 or less, or like right around 20. I kind of really believe you can't really manage that many more people in a way that's as hands-on as we are. You could do it. I've done it, but you always have stragglers, and you always have people that wish that they were the top 10 or the top 20, and they'll never be there.
And you don't want someone to feel that way.
No, I mean, I started this to be different and to do things differently. So I have to stand by that. And I get challenged by it all the time. Should I just take on more people? Maybe we'll make more money that way. But I'd rather focus on 20 solid people making more money than 50 people bringing in extra dollars and then 10 are lacking,
What do you feel like your key differential is from you versus other agencies?
I think it's really just the family atmosphere. I really I invite people to my home. I share my personal life adventures and stories with them. I just take another approach. I'll talk to you for 3 hours if you want to talk on the phone. If you want to come and spend the night because you broke up with your boyfriend, sure, come sleep on the Titanic, my couch that we call it. I just take an approach that's different because I really feel like this is such a close part of your life, and you're in such a volatile part of your life, usually like 18 to 30. It's like such a transitional period, and I feel like if we can be that like squad and those people that are behind you, supporting you, giving you reason to be confident and grow yourself, then you'll be a better person for it. So I think that having that like squad mentality and really trying to get the girls all together all the time, having all of them know each other, a lot of them are really good friends, a lot of best friends have been made out of the agency, and that's really different. There's not a lot of people that try to encourage like a sisterhood, and I've always thought that was really unique and important.
Love that.
That's a really great differential in an industry that's otherwise difficult.
That's
and
not
cold.
what I
That normally
think. That's not
pits
what I
women.
think of in the industry.
Yeah.
So for
It's
sure.
very competitive. It's cold. It's gossipy. It's dark. It's dramatic. And I never wanted to be any of those things. And that really is why I started my own business and so many other reasons. And I didn't want to work in a room full of people that were openly judging people that you are supposed to love and represent, and to talk so darkly. I think that, there's something so nasty about gossip, and I've never really been into that. And I know that our industry is very full of that. So I just wanted to have my own bubble, and I can create what I want there. And is it the same as what other people are doing? No, I don't really pay too much attention to what other people are doing.
Yeah, especially I like what you said about, I think that's going to be the quote of the podcast, like working with your head down. I mean, the first 5 years of any business is like that.
Yeah.
Then you get to a point that maybe you can reflect and make some changes and come up for air.
Sure.
Right? But I mean, I don't think you're expected to do that at this point in time. So.
No, I kind of just tried to do whatever I expect for myself. Everyone constantly asks what are your plans? What are your 5-year plans? What's your 1-year plan? And I've never really been one to make one. I'm just planning
Seems like
today.
you just follow your gut.
I am 100% a gut instinct person. If it doesn't feel right to me, I'm not doing it. If it feels right, I am doing it. I will make it happen. I will figure out a way. I will find the dollar, whatever I need to do. But I've always believed that you just need to kind of move forward, and with that, plans will come and things will evolve, and you'll find your right path. Again, this is not, I'm not teaching a Harvard class. I am not doing rocket science. I don't need a 10-year plan to get my missile to the moon. I just don't.
This industry changes all the time. So even if you did have a set plan, how do you know that would work and that would happen?
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah, you have to be flexible.
5-year, 10-year plans. How do you even?
I think at most you can do a year, maybe a bigger picture goal, and quarterly.
Yeah.
At best, a quarterly goal. What are we going to do this quarter?
Yeah, even with fashion now, it's such fast fashion. Everything's constantly changing. One person might wear neon, and then suddenly if you don't have neon in your collection, you've missed the boat.
You have to swerve. You have to swerve,
Yeah.
because you just don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work at the end of the day. You follow your gut and you try things, but you are going to fail at some. And you have to just catch it as soon as possible.
It's so true. So yeah, I definitely agree. The year of planning or thinking ahead, and we kind of know Coachella, Swim Week, all of the different events that will be occurring that kind of lead our life. But yeah, I've never been one to try to live up to some extreme goals that have been set and then let down. And yeah, I don't know.
Just step after a step.
I'm just making shit happen every 24 hours.
Yeah, you are. That's a great one.
Yeah, the last podcast, I like the quote. They just said, just choose the next right thing.
Oh, I
It's
love that.
think about,
so good.
Got to take the next step.
So true.
And what does that mean? What's the quickest, what do I need to do right now?
Yeah.
And choosing that path, but not complicating it.
Yeah.
I just love your chill vibe.
It's very chill. Sometimes maybe too chill. I don't know.
That's
But
how
again,
that's what I say about myself. I'm maybe I shouldn't be so chill. Maybe I should be a little bit more regimented, a little bit, but that's just
But then
who I
we're
am
caring
at
about what
my-
other people think, and that's not us.
Yeah, and that's something I'm trying not to do as much as in the past. I have, I care about people. I really am such a people person, and I care about all of my relationships. I care about how you guys feel and how you think, and my whole team, my family, my friends. But at some point you literally just got to go, put your head down and go
True.
and stop asking for permission.
This is so good. Jules,
Firing it up.
something that we love to ask all of our guests, even though you've been like bombing us with great quotes.
She's gonna blast this question. I know it.
Oh, dear.
What is a piece of advice
And go to my
or a
notes.
mantra? Yeah, go to your notes. A piece of advice or a mantra that you've been living your life by.
Oh, this is a good one. Always forward, never back. And that applies in so many ways, but I've always thought about trying to let go of things that don't serve you, to just keep going no matter what's happened. There's something that has bogged you down. You've had a failed relationship. You've done something wrong in your business. Like someone got mad at you. You just got to keep going. If you rest on it for so long and think about it 24/7, like what is that doing for you? Where is that leading you? Nowhere.
Always forward, never back.
So yeah, I have that painted on a jacket thanks to Morgan from my office. She had
amazing.
it custom painted.
A
I think
leather?
it's going to be a new tattoo too.
Oh, that's so
I was
cool.
gonna say you should have that as a tattoo if you don't already.
It's coming soon to a theater near you.
Yeah.
And where can our listeners find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Jules Newmark, and then Newmark Models, and then Newmark Creative is like our production side Instagram.
Cool.
And then you can find me at newmarkmodels.com. And that's kind of really all I work on. I don't really do too many other socials. There's Facebook, but you know, my mom and my aunt are on there. So
Only 3 accounts. I don't do too many socials. No big deal.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
I think in my head, like,
We're always
that's
like,
just
man.
one.
Just this 3 things.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Well, everybody make sure to go follow Jules and Newmark Models and Newmark Creative. And then head over and follow us on social at Style for the Priv and at Priv Talks Podcast. You can subscribe and rate us 5 stars and leave us a review because we love to hear from you when you have wonderful things to say about us. You can shop on our website with the code Priv Talks for 20% off, and then hop into our Facebook group. We've got amazing things happening, some awesome giveaways, events, and inside scoops coming up that you're going to want to be part of. And we're out.